Welcome back to Sales Remastered. Today is day 5 of 5 on Outbound week, and over the last 4 days, as you already know, or at least some of you already know, I have been covering different topics and situations on when it becomes difficult to generate business from outbound efforts, right? From outbound calls, follow-up calls, the chase, right? Like you leaving voice message, emails, and text messages, regardless if they have a chance of being unanswered, you're still pushing through with absolute faith, determination, resilience, and just belief that you will eventually catch them. And, over the course of the last 4 years, I hope that some of the content that I've given you has given you some straight gold. Like once you walk through the doors of your place of employment, you just know what to do. You know how to save some time, avoid some headache, avoid that pitfall, and hurry up your momentum in getting to where you want to go, whether it's an income bracket, a sales tier, or just get that 1 point on the board so you can quote unquote break the seal and you can understand how it works and how it goes and say, okay, let me go ahead and play with that. Let me switch this up real quick. And in this episode, because it's the grand finale, because it is the last episode, because this is the last time that we're going to talk about Outbound for this week, and of course, cause it's Friday, you ain't got no calls, you ain't got no qualified leads, and you ain't got no pricings to do. I'm gonna get you high today because you're on Sales Remastered. You want to get your pay up, and you just want to figure out what the fuck works. And so I'm going to share that shit with you right now. Today is going to be a great episode. I'm excited for you. I hope you're excited because the content that I'm going to share with you is not only going to help you out with outbounds, but it's going to help you out with inbounds. It's not only going to help you out with getting the objections at the beginning, but it's also going to help you with those objections at the end, the ones that stop you from crossing that bridge together, the one that typically ends with, oh, okay, well, let me get back to you. If I'm interested, I'll contact you. Get out of that cycle, right? And have more control. Imagine having the ability to address the objections that you already know are going to come up in the conversation, no matter where you are. Do you believe you would have a distinct advantage? Do you understand how much of a handicap you would have over your prospects? It's almost sinful. It's almost like, damn, that's just not fair. Do you know what it's like to have your cube mates look at you and be like, bro, how the fuck did you do that? Do you understand what it feels like when your cube mates come by you or your team members come by you and be like, bro, that's not even fair. How the fuck did you do that? And they ask you, and then you look back at them with a smirk and shit, and you be like, well, my boy at Sales Remastered taught me how. Make sure they download that sales script. Go to salesremastered.com, and of course, you already know, use your personal email address, not your business. If you don't want the script, then go ahead and put in your business, because more than likely that bitch is gonna bounce back. It's gonna hit me. It's gonna stay in quarantine. The only persons that's gonna have that sales script, boo-boo, is gonna be your IT department. I don't know if you want to hook your IT department up. I don't know if your IT department's into that shit, but if they are, they got some lethal shit inside their inbox now. And so in this episode, what I'm going to talk about again is outbound generation. This whole week has been outbound generation. As a matter of fact, this is more of a hybrid video. I was just thinking about before I hit record, because I don't plan my shit. It literally is improv. When I plan it is when I sit down right here in this fucking chair, in this seat, sometimes in the sauna, as I'm getting prepped to come back out. But then I'll think, all right, well, what's the topic or what's the subject on? And so, of course, this subject or this week's going to be dedicated to outbounds, right? Outbound originations, outbound efforts. What can I do to improve my chances of generating outbound sales and take the grind out of that hustle? And so I thought about that topic and I came up with this. This is more of a hybrid video because this applies literally with any objection, anything that's stopping you. And it's understanding that objections are objections. However, there are two types of objections. There are constant, meaning almost given objections, right? These are constant objections. These are objections that are gonna come with the game. Like, this is just something you already fucking know will happen, right? And so if you're having an inbound lead, then you already know more than likely they're going to sweat you for your interest rate. You already know they're going to sweat you about your price. They're going to tell you that they're working with the broker who's charging them fucking 8 cents and giving them $9 million in lender credit. So much lender credit, this fucker's bill's paid off. Like, hey bro, he's giving me enough lender credit, my house is owned outright. As a matter of fact, I'm just signing the note. You know, and so if you currently right now, you know, like when you think about an inbound or outbound call, there are typically maybe 1 or 2 like common objections, right? Constant objections. We'll call it, fuck it, we'll call it the given, right? This is the given objection. And I didn't come up with a name. Again, forgive me, this is fucking improv. Maybe when I come with some hyper-focused shit, some real professional shit, then what I'll do is I'll create a fucking name. As a matter of fact, you help me create a name. Leave notes below. Let me know what you believe the name should be. But the name of the objections that are just all the time, they're constant. What's your rate? What's your fee? I don't got time. You know, I'm not in the market. These are constant, right? And typically they happen at the beginning of the call. And then there are other objections that are constant, and they happen at the sales pitch. Like, okay, cool, let me go ahead and look, let me go ahead and compare it, or let me go ahead and talk to my spouse, let me pray about it. Whatever objection you could think of that are common at the time of sales pitching. And I want you to think about those, because we need to write them down. And I'm telling you, this is going to pay you back in tenfold. And maybe, you know what, maybe I'll write them down myself, and I'll make one specifically for a mortgage loan officer. As a matter of fact, hell yeah, I'm gonna do that, and I'm gonna make it available. But the problem is, people are gonna put in their fucking business email address and then hit me. I'm like, yo bro, I never got that shit. And I'm telling you, man, you gotta use your personal email address. Use your personal email address, you'll get this list. But ultimately, I want you to envision this list. If you're fucking hungry and you're eager beaver status this morning, and you want to take control of your destiny, you don't want to fucking wait, even for me, like, you don't even want to wait for me to prepare the list. Here, I invite you to do this. Grab a pen and paper. If you're on your way to work right now, just remember to fucking do so, and grab that pen and paper, and I want you to draw a line right down the fucking middle. On the left hand side, you're going to put beginning, and then on the right hand side, you're going to put ending. And so beginning is at the beginning, initial conversation, right? This is your initial 10:03. And then at the end is going to be like at the pitch time. This is going to be at sales presentation, right? This is your pitch call. And what you're going to do is you're going to write down at least 3 to 5 common, or whatever the fuck name we come up with these type universal objections that are constant at the very beginning and are constant at the very end. And so just like my examples, right? Like, I don't got time, or I'm not in the market, or you know, what's your interest rate, or what are your fees, or, you know what I mean? These are constant at the very beginning. Whereas at the sales pitch, the constant is, let me talk to my spouse, right? Or let me go ahead and crunch some numbers. Let me go and think about it. Whatever common objections you get, you can think about it and write them down. And then what happens is, I want you to look at those lists, each side, and then prioritize them, meaning like, I always get this one. Put that bitch at the top. One of the objections that you come up with and you can't, you know what I mean, like, you rarely run into that bitch, put that bitch at the bottom. And so now it's just priority, right? And so if you constantly get this objection, boom, you know exactly where to go. You're not siphoning through the fucking body. You're looking right to the top and say, yep, I already knew this fucking objection was coming. And then now you got the answer. Now you already know that fucking objection is coming. Now here's the best part about it, is now, because you already know what's ahead, it's kind of like, you know, it's kind of like that part of that video game. Like, you got to hit it just right. You gotta go through this certain path in order to even fucking pass it. And if you didn't go through that path, chances are you reaching the end successfully would minimize. And fuck that. Like, if you know, you took the risk, right? Even though you would get bit in the ass and start all the way at the beginning, you took the risk and did it that way. But what was the reward? The reward for that risk was great. Like, you didn't have to go through certain shit, right? Like, you didn't have to go through that awkward moment of answering objections, and now we got the fucking debate going on. Instead, you are able to be so smooth, so subliminal, so covert, that you addressed every fucking objection within your opening statement or within your sales presentation. So much so that they're like, well, fuck. You know, and the prospect's like, oh, well, dang. damn. They're gonna ask you, like, hey, bro, do you listen to Sales Remastered? Do you know who Daniel Necart is? Because, man, you just so fucking good, bro. And, you know, hey, if that shit happens, you gotta admit, bro, self-aware. No, I'm fucking with you. No, but for real, write down those lists of you know, common and constant objections. The second type of objection is situational, right? And that could just be like a line at the very bottom, and so it kind of looks like a, you know, like a cross, right? So you got on the left hand side, you got beginning, and of course on the right hand side you got you know, at the end, or sales pitch. And then you got constant objections and situational objections. Situational is going to be specific to the program. Situational could be something like UFMIP, or VA funding fee, or HARP, you know what I mean, or NTB or some shit. These are situational. This isn't constant, you know. And again, you do it for both the beginning and also the end. And so what happens is when you come up with those defined objections, whatever they are, you are better prepared for what's to come. So your ass isn't caught off guard. And what your goal is and what your objective is that you need to be masterfully craftful at how you handle those objections. And so what I do is I invite you, if you have not checked out the sales script yet, go to salesremaster.com. There's a link under this video. Put in your personal email address, please, and hit submit. I'll send you back an email. You know, I have an email server. It's not fucking me. It's not, you know, it's not me on my cell phone like, ooh, someone signed up for a script. Let me go and email it to you. That's the whole reason why there's a CAPTCHA test, where you gotta fucking pick the street signs, and you gotta, you know, pick you got to pass the fucking test to make sure you're not some evil robot. And so why you got to do that is to make sure that, you know, again, you're not a fucking robot, but that is confirmation that the email is confirmed. And so we're going to go ahead and send, or my email server will send you this script. And what this script does, it tells you what those things are. And so you see that the script actually addresses the objections that are bound to come up. Now, those objections are from the inbound, right? And so there are different objections with the outbound, but the same ideology, the same style, the same strategy, the same methods, the same, you know what I mean, philosophy of Sales Remastered, of EQ selling. It's all part of that script. And so when you take the thesis and like, oh, okay, so that's why he says, you know, thanks for holding, or that's why he says I'm the authority, right? Or that's why he says I'm authorized to provide you with the information he needs, and that's why he says, let me just make sure I can save you some time, you know, I can point you in the right direction, I can lead you into where you want to go, right? I'm addressing those immediate concerns right in the very beginning in my opening pitch. And what happens is when you address those concerns, well, they ain't got shit to think about, right? Because when they call in, whether it is beginning or end, they're thinking. They're not necessarily absorbing the shit that you say. And so it's important that the very first sentence you say is going to fucking dismantle, and I say disarm their guard, meaning that they come into a conversation because we're fucking salesmen. They're guarding their purse. They're holding their pockets. They're making sure we didn't go in their pocket. That's just how it is. This is nature. This is human nature. And when you relate to and you understand how to use it to your advantage, then it's no longer a sales grind. It's a fucking sales game. And so when they go into a situation or a scenario with a salesman, they're going to be guarded. And so this sales script will disarm the guard. So use the same philosophy when you're doing a sales pitch. That, my friend, is going to help you with your outbound efforts, because the fucking problem is like, well, I'm going to call these people, and how the fuck do I start the conversation? Go check out video 4 yesterday. Well, then, you know, well, they're going to say this. Well, how come they never call me back? Go check out video 3 of 5 on Outbound week. That's fucking Wednesday. This is 2 days ago, right? Oh, well, what if they do this? Go check out the objections week last week. I've got the content galore. Go check out the playlist at Sales Remastered. There's an answer for you. And so the issue with us generating business, really, there's no fucking excuse anymore. You can't be like, oh man, I just don't know how to do it. Yeah, you do, boo-boo. You got free content. You got content you can go pay for. You could pick up a fucking sales book. You can Google how the fuck do I sell, and you're going to see a plethora plethora of free information. None quite like mine, though, because I'm bringing it to you raw. I'm bringing to you shit unedited. You're not going to see a fucking green screen in this background. You're going to see my sweaty ass car and me in my fucking filthy, sweaty clothes because I'm just coming from the gym. And you can feel the authenticity, right? You understand that sometimes I look for words because this shit was not planned, and I also look for words because maybe my vocabulary isn't that great. I don't give a fuck about my disadvantages, what you think about my speech, because if you can get past a 4 fucking letter word, then inside, boo-boo, you're gonna find the rewards of your patience, the reward of following this channel, the reward for every single fucking time you hit that like button, that comment button, and that you shared that link with your team. You're going to see your style kind of shift and evolve into a more smooth, efficient, covert process. Soon, your cipher, your circle will be calling you sensei. They're going to be calling you ninja, because they're going to be like, where the fuck did you come from? How the fuck did you do that? And that is what it becomes addicting, right? That's what becomes great. It's like, oh man, it's like it clicks. Like if you've heard me say that before, shit clicks. I'm constantly trying to get you to that point where it just fucking clicks. And I'm going to share with you on my next video after I get ready for Friday, and I'm going to share some real deep shit with you guys, and I will see you there. Bye.